Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video. That's right, I'm the owner of NoDQ, Aaron Rift, here to answer your questions about the world of wrestling. So let's get right down to it. Out of the first four tag team TLC matches, which one was your favorite and why? For me, TLC 2 is the best, followed by the fourth one on Raw when Kane won. I think I always hold a special place in my heart for the very first TLC match at SummerSlam 2000. The spots for that match stick out the most to me. Jeff Hardy jumping off the ladder, Bubba Ray going through all the tables, Lita coming out getting speared by Edge. Just so many crazy bumps in that match, and because it was the first one, I think that's the one that stands out the most to me. Hey Aaron, keep up the great work, love the show. And since you answered a Lita question, I wanted to get your thoughts on how they sent her off with that Crime Time angle. I think she should have gotten a proper send-off like Trish. I agree. I think the problem there was that both Trish and Lita were retiring at the same time, and they were already doing the send-off for Trish, so I guess they just decided to have Lita go out as a heel and do the thing to mock her. But, I mean, she's made cameo appearances here and there, and yeah, I'm thinking they could have done more for her. But, you know, she'll get in the Hall of Fame eventually, and as you saw at the beginning, everyone wants to know, who's going in the Hall of Fame? Is this guy going in the Hall of Fame? Is that guy going in the Hall of Fame? They all might go in the Hall of Fame. WWE inducts like 10 guys a year. And there's plenty of years. So everyone's going to probably get in eventually. God. I know. Hey Aaron, do you think it's time for a makeover for Raw and SmackDown's stage set? I mean, both shows have the same exact set. IMO. What does that stand for? I know what it stands for. It was better when both shows had their own unique set. IMO, the SmackDown fist set, was the best one. You like giant fists, don't you? No, I'm kidding. I actually do like that set a lot. I really enjoyed the old school custom designed sets, you know, that were built, not like these just generic screens, HD screens that they use now. Yeah, I'd like to see them go back, and they were more creative. When you actually had to build the set and put it together and try to be unique with it. Now it's just all the screens and they just have the graphics or whatnot. Yeah, I liked it the way it was. Maybe they should, you know, have a happy medium. Have the HD sets, but kind of, you know, do more with them and, you know, have some of the old school buildings and, you know, props or whatever, like the cars and the ladders or whatever. Yeah, I'd like to see them go back to something different, like the old days, for sure. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on the late great Yokozuna? Yokozuna, big man. He moved really well for a guy his size. And I think the big problem with him was that his size got out of control. He gained too much weight. WWE asked him to lose the weight and he wasn't able to, and it was just, you know, an unfortunate story with him. But during his run in 93, 94, he was great. He played that monster heel sumo wrestler really well. And, you know, going back to the Hall of Fame, who's going to go in the Hall of Fame? I think he's a good candidate for the Hall of Fame. And considering he's Samoan, you know, he's Samoan, not Japanese, and WWE always has a special place in their hearts for the Samoans, I think there's a good shot Yokozuna will get in. You know, it's that situation where they don't want to induct too many guys that have passed away, you know, all the time. They want to spread it out over several years. So it could be a while, but I do think Yokozuna will get in eventually. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on Chris Jericho's comments towards Miz and CM Punk? He stated how Miz is ripping off his character by wearing suits, talking slowly, and using big words, and Punk claims he's the best in the world, like Jericho used to do. Well, here's the thing. I highly doubt that Chris Jericho is being serious when he talks about how he's pissed off at these guys stealing his ideas, because everything gets stolen, everything is copied, everything is borrowed, whatever you want to call it. It happens all the time in wrestling. Look at Ric Flair. He copied Buddy Rogers. Hulk Hogan borrowed his gimmick from superstar Billy Graham and Dusty Rhodes. It happens. That's just the way it is. If Chris Jericho is really mad about that, then he's got a problem. But I don't think he's mad about it. I think he's just, you know, doing the work as usual and just trying to keep his name out there, and just, you know, he's putting over those other guys too by mentioning them and talking trash about them. So, you know, that's just the way it is. Would you rather see Undertaker return with his original dead man gimmick, or would you like to see a return of the American Badass. Okay, I've been talking about The Undertaker a lot. People have been getting on my case. Stop talking about Undertaker. You know, it's getting old. Stop talking about his streak in WrestleMania 28. I'm just going to say this. I think it would be a bad idea to have him go back to the American Badass gimmick. He should stay as the dead man until he retires. That's just my opinion. I think they should leave the American Badass in the past. It's not really going to fit in well with the PG era, so just let him be the dead man. That's what people like. That's the Undertaker we've all come to know and love. Just that should be the way it is. It seems as if WWE gave RTruth a big push during his feud with Cena and quickly gave up on him after his loss to Cena at Capital Punishment. Do you think RTruth deserves to be a WWE or World Champion one day? Well, it's hard to say because WWE pushed RTruth, but they only did it for a month. And the other problem was that his push consisted of him getting a fluke countout win over John Cena. If they'd given RTruth some big wins and gave him a chance to get over as a main eventer, then I would be able to judge if he deserves it or not. But he really wasn't tested that much. He was just a guy that was put in a main event slot to fill a pay-per-view with John Cena. It was just a transitional pay-per-view between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. They just needed a guy to face Cena and lose, and RTruth was that guy. So who knows? I mean, I'm sure RTruth is a hard worker, and you know, he's been with the company for several years now. He had that run in 2000. He was with TNA for all those years and making a name for himself. So if you're talking about work ethic, yeah, the guy does probably deserve it. But as a draw, he's been untested, and he really hasn't been given the chance. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we have here. Why do people say they don't watch wrestling because it's fake? I mean, aren't most TV shows fake? Unless it's reality-based or a sport, everything on TV is fake. Yeah, everything on TV is fake. People are fake. Wrestling is real. Yeah, anyone that says wrestling is fake is just a douchebag, honestly. You know, I always heard that in high school all the time. Why do you watch wrestling? It's so fake. It's gay. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, just ignore it. Anybody that says that, they're just being an idiot. You know, whatever. Hey, Aaron, why is TNA so bad? I only have a few minutes left to talk. I cannot go 15, 20 minutes talking about this. But back to your question. It seems like no matter what they do, they can't just get people interested in anything they do. I mean, sure, they have like 4 or 5 people who watch every week, but the majority of the human race are smart and realize TNA sucks. Well, I wouldn't go as far to say that the human race is smart, but yeah, enough people do realize that TNA sucks. And the reason is because the people working behind the scenes in TNA were the same people working in WCW when WCW was declining and going out of business. Logic should tell you to hire people that have a successful track record. Don't hire people that helped put a company out of business. But Dixie Carter, for whatever reason, she had to hire Vince Russo. She had to hire all the WCW production team members. And that's why part of the big reason why TNA is in the shape it's in. It's not because of the wrestlers. TNA has an awesome talent pool. It's not that's the problem. It's the way the company's being run. Just that's the way it is. Hey Aaron, what's your favorite WWE Raw match of all time? One that comes to mind is Shelton Benjamin versus Shawn Michaels in 2005. Those two men tore it up and the ending was incredible. I have to say my all-time favorite match on Raw was in early 2000. It was DX and the Radicals against The Rock, Cactus Jack, and Too Cool. That match was one of those magical moments where the in-ring work was just fantastic. It was really a fun match, and the crowd heat, you couldn't ask for a better crowd. I mean, they were so into it, and I just loved it. There wasn't one single second that it was boring. Just awesome, awesome match. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Go back. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Definitely check that one out. Hey, Aaron, do you think Bret Hart would have had a longer career if he didn't have a stroke? Of course. If Bret Hart had been healthy, I think he would have come back to the WWE sooner. You know, Kurt Angle was really bidding for a match with Bret Hart around 2003, and, you know, Bret just couldn't do it because of the stroke. But if Bret's health allowed it, I'm sure he would have wanted to come back for WrestleMania and have a match with Kurt Angle. And, you know, maybe this whole thing with him and Vince would have been put to rest many years ago. But yeah, the stroke just, I think, kept Bret, a little bit shut away and bitter or whatever. And eventually he got over it. But yeah, it's just a shame because we could have gotten some more great Bret Hart moments, with Chris Jericho and Censored and Kurt Angle and all those guys. Would have been some awesome stuff. All right, that about does it for No DQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the show. What are your predictions for Hell in a Cell? Who's going to win the WWE title match? Who's going to win the world title match? Does anyone care? Leave a comment. Go to NoDQforums.com. Discuss wrestling with other fans. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Hell in a Cell. And with that, we will see you next time for No DQ&A video. Like how I rock the chair back and forth?